Hi, my name is Roger Werner from the Luton branch, and this is Carol, my wife.
Hi, I'm Carol from Luton ECKG. When I first came to the church, my husband and I were heading for a divorce. We had many other problems, which included health problems because I could not conceive and serious financial problems. But our marriage was heading for a divorce. We'd just been married for 6 months when I first came to the ECKG, and my husband and I had started being my husband had started being verbally abusive to me. And because I had been in a relationship where I'd been let down previously, I resorted to what I had picked up in that relationship, which was physical abuse. And the problems were so serious that sometimes I would be crying at bedtime, but he would not even take notice. He would ignore me. I was not happy. I was so bitter because I was like, oh, there was no other way. And I started thinking of having affairs with other men. And that was the point where he came. At that point, that's when I found out about the ECKG. I remember I said to the pastor, I'm okay for us to get divorced because I'd already been in a relationship and got divorced, so I was ready. The second divorce, you know, when you've done something once, the second time, you say, oh, it's okay, I can do it. But when I came here, it was like, no, you cannot accept to get divorced. You have to fight for your marriage. And that's when I heard, a few months later, the campaign of Israel came. I sacrificed for my marriage, my love life, because I wanted my husband to be with me. And I got my weekly wage, and that's what I sacrificed at that point. And when I sacrificed for that, he wasn't happy because he wasn't yet in the church, and he thought I was wasting money. But that Easter, because the campaign was before Easter, that Easter, he decided to come to the church, and because he wasn't confident why I wasn't shouting at him back when I was getting home or when he was picking me up from the church. So he thought, well, I'll come to the church in case something's happening in the church.
I came to see for myself, and I was amazed and shocked to see the number of people that were there in the service. And I must admit, as much as it was hard for me to come into the building, so I used to play in Finsbury Park Church when I was a child, it was very much a pleasure to come into a building to see exactly what they'd done to it and everything else, and our love life took off from there.
When I first came to the church, it was 6 months after we got married that we were about to get divorced. Today we've been married now for 11 years. We've been together 12 years, and we can now work together as a couple in handling our differences, because we do have our differences, but we've learned to handle, we've learned to sacrifice, even sometimes when it's hard, but it's because I learned that through the campaign of Israel, I can defeat whatever negativity is there, but I have to do my part, which is to learn the practical advice that I receive from the assistants and from the pastors for my marriage to keep going.
And it was hard, but we managed to get through it with her help. On my own, I wouldn't be sitting here today giving this testimony. There is no question about that. I don't know where I'd be, but I'm very grateful that I've got her.
For any woman who's having problems in their marriage life, Campaign of Israel is the best, especially if you're sure you've got spiritual problems, if you're sincere with yourself, whoever sacrificed for you, you can override everything they did by you sacrificing for your own life. But through Campaign of Israel, you can do the perfect sacrifice, and your marriage will completely turn around, and there will be no end to it, but just a step of learning each other.